So this is 5 main reasons to crate train your puppy. The first is separation anxiety. So generally when we take our puppy away from its litter and we bring it into the home, it's common that our dogs get a bit of separation anxiety. The crate is going to be a really useful way to overcome this little hurdle. I tend to find people that don't crate their dog at a young age or don't crate train their dog at a young age potentially end up with separation anxiety at later stages of the dog's life, which can become very destructive. The dog can be very stressed, and it creates a lot of stress for both us and the dog. So crate training is a great way to stop and prevent separation anxiety. The second reason is management. So it gives you a way to manage the dog in the living environment. So for example, say I've got a dog that I'm trying to train in the house and I'm trying to stop it from toileting in the house, I'm trying to stop it from jumping on the furniture, and I'm setting it boundaries. One key when setting boundaries is going to be consistency. So when we're not watching the dog, our dog can go in the crate, kennel, which allows us to maintain that consistency. So we can pop the dog away in the crate, lock it away, then when we bring it out, come on, we can grab the lead, keep the dog on a leash, set our boundaries, toilet train the dog, whatever we may be trying to achieve. So the crate is a management tool, similar to a baby's cot. So the third reason crate training is important is toilet training. So if you've got a young puppy and you're trying to toilet train it, what I recommend is crating the dog in between the dog going toilet. So every single time I'm not watching the dog or I am busy with something else, the dog's going to go into the crate. So we put it in our it's managed. Every single time we bring it out of the crate, we're going to take it straight to the toilet and tell the dog toilet, wait for the dog to go toilet and pop it back away in the crate or let it roam in the house. But every single time it comes out of that crate, I want you to take it toilet. And that's going to make the toilet training process very, very simple and easy. Reason 4. Having your dog crate trained and comfortable in a crate is very useful when you send your dog away to a kennels or you have a friend look after your dog. A lot of time I have clients that come to me and they say they can't find anybody to look after their dog because the dog has separation anxiety or it's not crate trained. That could be easily overcome by crate training your dog at a young age. So if your friends go to look after your dog, you say, hey look, here's my crate, here's my dog. If you're out or you're not watching the dog, pop it away in the crate and the dog's going to be fine. So it becomes very easy for other people to look after their dog. Same with if it goes to a kennels. If it's used to being in a crate, it's going to become a lot more accustomed to a kennel environment. So if you ever do have to send your dog away for a kennels for a long period, it's already kind of desensitized to a situation like that the best you can, which prevents the dog from being stressed out during that period. So reason number 5 is thunder. So if your dog is uncertain of thunder or weather or things going on in the environment, the crate is also a very useful tool. It becomes a safe place. It's a safe environment where the dog can go, get away from stresses in the situation and de-escalate. I tend to put a little blanket over the top of the crate if the dog's ever uncertain of something. It helps the dog settle and make the dog less stressed. So crate training is an awesome tool. Make sure you do it correctly and you have a guide to follow. You can run into issues if you just pop the dog straight in there and close them in. So make sure you go through the correct protocols to get the dog accustomed to the crate. So I'm going to go through a little drill that I use when initially teaching a dog to become used to a crate. So the first is I usually have a leash on the dog, and what I'll do is I'll apply a little bit of leash pressure and guidance into the crate, guide the dog in and throw a handful of treats. So I don't want to necessarily force the dog in with the lead, but I always use that motion just to kind of guide the dog and show the dog what's expected, and then I throw a handful of treats in. Let's go, Coco. So I guide the dog in with my hand, throw the handful of treats in. Good girl. Give a bit of praise. Let's go. Notice how I'm not closing her in there and I'm pulling her straight out of the crate straight away. So I'm not getting, all I want her initially to do is go in, come out, go in, come out. And all I'm trying to do is get her used to the doorway of the crate and actually the feeling of going into the crate. So it's something that the dog doesn't see as a threat. Kennel. Yes. So another thing that I can do as I'm doing this drill is I can load my marker at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm giving the dog the kennel command or crate command. Kennel, when she goes in there, Yes, I mark and reward. So I just say yes just to mark the moment she's done the correct thing. It's going to teach her about the crate, and it's also going to load my yes marker at the same time. Let's go. Kennel, guide her in. Yes, mark and reward. Let's go. Kennel, yes, mark and reward. Good. So as you start to feel more comfortable, you can let go of the lead. So now I'm just going to leave the lead dragging behind her just in case I need to grab it if she becomes distracted by something. Let's go. I'm also adding in the let's go command, which is a release for me. So it just means let's go, you're free to move, you can come out of the crate now. Kennel, yes. And what I'm slowly doing now is I'm taking away the amount of guidance I'm giving the dog. So initially I was guiding her right in. Now I'm just giving a little bit of guidance to show her, to give her direction to what I'm expecting. So you can do that with all commands when you're training a dog, is you slowly wean the guidance away. Or we call it fading. Let's go. Good. Kennel. Yes. So there, once again, I'm fading that hand motion away more and more. Let's go. Kennel. Yes. And I don't mind the fact she's getting out at this point. Good. I'll mark that. The fact she pulled her foot back in, that's good. So she's learning the boundary here too. Let's go. Kennel. Yes, so that was the first time I didn't need to use any body guidance. Notice how I had a pause there. So I said kennel, gave her about a second pause, 1 to 2 seconds, and then she responded and went in, so I marked and rewarded. Sometimes you just want to make sure you have a bit of a gap between the verbal and the physical cue so that the dog has a chance to respond, because you may make a huge breakthrough like I just did there. Cool, now I've got her going into the kennel freely and she's happy going in there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to slowly close the door on her. Now that she's in there, I'm going to close the door. Yes, mark and reward and throw a treat in there. And I'm just going to throw a few treats in there as she's in there as the door's closed. Get her comfortable with being in there. She's starting to sit, that's good. Let's go, and I open the door. So she stayed in there for about 10-15 seconds. That's perfect. Just a short period in the crate, and I'm going to slowly extend that period. So kennel, good. Close the door. Yes, mark and reward. Oh. So another little thing I can start to do is condition my no marker at the same time. So if she is to get out of the crate without me saying, I can just say no and then just close the door like this. And that's just going to set a boundary of, now you can't come out of the crate until I ask you to. So say she was to come out of the crate. No, if she does that, that's okay. I'll just guide her straight back in with the lead. That's why we have the lead on. Good. Yes, I can mark and reward the fact she's in there. That's fine. She goes to come out again. No. Good. That's good. So I'm now teaching her the boundary of the crate at the same time. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. And I give her a little bit of feedback as she's going, just to let her know I like what she's doing. Good. Good. Let's go. Oh. Kennel. Good. Good. Yes. Cool. So that's the first drill I would be doing with my dog, and just getting her used to going in and out of the crate, closing the door, keeping her in there for a short period of time, and getting her comfortable with that. Now what I would start to do is get her used to being in there for an extended period of time. Okay, so it's important that you don't have too much going on in the environment around the crate. So for example, if I'm trying to crate train a dog and I've got kids running around with squeaky toys, there's a high chance my dog's going to elevate, become overexcited, and want to get out of the crate. So I want to put the dog in a calm environment initially when I'm crate training the dog. So pick a nice quiet environment in the house. She's now comfortable going in and out. take the lead off, and I just close her in there. Cool. What you'll probably find is going to happen is especially with a young pup, is a lot of the time they may throw a bit of a hissy fit when you close them in there for an extended period. So don't stress if that happens. Completely ignore it and wait for the dog to settle, which is the best option if we can. And that's gonna really depend on what you're doing in your house management outside of the crate and in that environment. Because if you're winding the dog up outside of the crate, you're playing with the dog, you're cuddling the dog on the couch, and then you go and close the dog in a crate in that environment, your dog's probably going to throw a big tanty wanting to get out because it wants the luxuries outside of the crate. So it's important that you have your house management system set up correctly in the living environment when you start to do the crate training.